Wardrobe Warrior, and here's fun with Macintoshes. Return of the Mac, yes it is, return of the Mac, oh yeah, return of the Mac, Macadad'll make it do 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 do, jump, jump, do 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 do, Macadad'll make it do 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 do. I'm not cool, but I think you guessed that. Hi, I'm back in my red Mac, and I'm going to tell you give you the reasons for why the bits on a trench coat were necessary. As I stated before, trench coats were built for men, women, but mostly men, soldiers. They were built mostly for soldiers in wartime, to be worn in the war front, on the battle, trudging through mud, carrying guns. So a lot of these functions are practical. So for the first one, obviously the 10 buttons, it being double-breasted, it ensures that it fitted to your body, it was close, you could put things in, you had an inside pocket, it would be shut and protected. The storm front closing, well that's obvious, is to keep you and your bits dry. That's the second thing. The third thing is the belt loops, the belt things around your wrist. Now why would those be necessary? Are they not for fashion? They are not for fashion. Basically, if you needed to keep your uniform dry, so you would put your uniform on, most of the time your jacket would reach where about my gloves are. That's about the right place for a trench coat, because the belt around your wrist is supposed to go around your wrist, whereas you saw on mine it's a little bit shorter, but I'm wearing mine for fashion. I'm not going to war. So this, you would make sure that your suit finished here, and you would push it up just a little, put your trench coat on, tighten the belt, your suit would be dry and it would look good, which is very important, especially if you were like an officer and you couldn't be having mud on your sleeves, whatever. It's not a good look. The next thing is the epaulettes. Now, epaulettes have been claimed by ladies' fashion, but epaulettes have a very important use. Basically, they should button down, and epaulettes were there to ensure that when the soldier put his backpack on, his backpack would stay in place. So you open your epaulettes, put your backpack through, put them on, put the epaulettes over, button it, you're moving along. Your rucksack is not sliding off your shoulders because the epaulettes are keeping it in place. Brilliant. So all those things ensure that it is a trench coat. The next two are also ensured that you would know that it was a military trench, is the flap of material here. Why is there a flap here? People don't know the reason why there's a flap here. It is called a gun flap, and it is there twofold. So if you had a handgun and it would be falling like that, the strap would go across like that, or the strap could go around here. You would put it on, open your gun flap, make sure that it was secure, button it. It's not moving, it's not running, you're running, your gun is not going up and down. It's secure. It's not gonna hit you in the face. The other way is if you had your musket which is your bigger gun, it would be strapped to your back, and the strap could either go across, diagonally across body, or it would go over the shoulder, and again it would pass through the gun flap. This gun flap ensured the strap didn't move, your gun didn't move, you're running, your gun is still in place, it's not moving. Yeah. So that was the reason for the gun flap. The next thing is if you were an officer or a military and you really had a proper trench coat, which some Burberrys really do copy military trenches to the letter, even though they're fancy and they've got silk, is that they will have, my Burberry has this, and I think I showed it to you, it has an inside pocket. A very small pocket, that would be to put your precious things that you really didn't want in your backpack, like secret orders, your match tins, your fob watch, which you would pull out. These are the things that you would pull out. You didn't want to get out your rucksack really quickly. It takes too long. There's a little secret pocket that kept it so you had something in your pocket and then in your pocket again so it was dry. So it would be something like your match tins, your special orders, warrants or seals, very, very tiny, or a little locket with a picture of your sweetheart because you wanted to be able to pull it out and see his or her face while you're sad in the trenches, waiting for death, because basically that's what happened to most people that were wearing trench coats in the war, is that they knew they were going to die. So some even you would find like tiny little pocket Bibles as well. So that, and I see that my camera has kind of gone all wobbly, so I'm going to stop it now and do the last little thing about trench coats. D-rings. D-rings were not for live ammo or any sort of ammo, because it would be crazy to have ammo hanging off your waist. If you're running, the pin could just dislodge just by the movement. So no, basically D-rings were for things like your belt, like extra belts, maps, a compass, telescopes, binoculars, rulers, pencils, pens, little tiny bag with other things, I don't know, marbles or something that couldn't fit in your pocket. But yes, that's what D-rings are for. Not ammo, for handy tools that you want and you don't want to have to go in your backpack to get out. Your last thing on a trench coat, if it's a military grade, it will have the extra bit of material at the back, which obviously this does not, because it's a MAC for fashion. It is water resistant, as I explained before. You would have the extra material. Now that material bit served two functions. One, yes, it was because when it's raining, soldiers didn't have umbrellas, they just had their hats. So they would have their hats and the water would hit them and it would spray down just as rain does, and it would go onto their shoulders, and it hits it here really, really quickly. So having the extra bit of material at the back protected their back and their shoulders. So that was the first use. The second use was zips weren't really a thing for the Great War, in the First World War, because they weren't invented. So most bags had like a drawstring, and as you know, if you've got a drawstring bag, it's doesn't keep things dry. So again, my camera has moved, but I'm hoping it's going to stay while I explain. You would put your rucksack on, it's fastened by your epaulettes, it's kept in place, but it's kind of sort of open. what this extra bit of fabric did was not only did it cover you, it covered the top and most of your backpack, which would keep your precious things like your food and the extra blankets, it would keep that dry. So that is the extra function for that. I don't know if I've spoken about this, but I will pause because the camera is wonky, and just talk to you about it again. So those are the things that you would get that would make it a trench coat. So I am a bit of a pedant, and I don't like when people go, "Hey, I love your trench coat." I go, it's a MAC, it's not a trench coat. So this is why all trench coats are MACs, because MACs are water resistant coats, but not all MACs are trench coats. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And the next part of this video is like ways to maybe style your trench coat, because it's not always your MAC. Because you don't, as you can see, I haven't got mine tied around my waist, because most coats, the waist on me, because of my large boobies and the fact that I'm very tall, the belt loops are like here under my boobs. So, and also this is double-breasted, which is not always the most flattering shape if you're got lots of boobs, if you're blessed up here. So, styling your trench. There are different ways to tie your trench to make it more flattering. Next part of the video. Thank you for watching my free videos on MACs. I didn't want it to be too long, so I had to break it down into 3 parts. Thank you for bearing with me and learning some interesting facts about trench coats and Macintoshes that may win you some money in a pub quiz one day. I have won, honestly, I have won 50 quid just by knowing when Burberry invented a MAC. So no knowledge is never wasted. So if you've got any questions or things that you want me to tackle, find out, because sometimes I don't know the stuff and it's fun to find out these things, pop a question. Smash that like button, subscribe, help my channel grow, because I haven't got many subscribers and I'd like some more, because I like doing this, because this is fun for me. So it is fun, like the title. So I have been Wardrobe Warrior, you have been a delight, thank you for watching, and go with glamour.